Welcome all of you in this series of developing fortitude of forgiveness. And we have referred to this as fortitude because to be able to forgive someone who has done something wrong to us is very difficult. It's not easy. And we have been discussing in the last two sessions that forgiveness is not about that person, forgiveness is about ourselves. It is about ourselves, how we can improve, how we can grow, how we can take responsibility of our own karma, how we can take responsibility of our own emotions, and how we can be open to forgive someone. And we discussed yesterday how in so many different ways the resentment, the past has been impacting our future, and because of continuously thinking about same thing over and over, we have been developing same kind of energies. And with same kind of energies, the incident has become even more painful because of our thinking towards it, and that is creating my future experiences no better than what my past experience was with that person or with any situation as person. So today there are two more sections left in this series. I'm not sure whether we can finish it today. We'll try. If not, then we may have to extend it till tomorrow. So in the first section, it is a little sensitive section. It is very introspective, and it is going to stir up different types of emotions. So I would request to be compassionate and to take it to the extent how much you can manage, and just try to be more observant and as a third party observer, so that you don't just carry it away and don't take it personally. This is going to be a little more sensitive section, but it's important part of the series. I wanted to omit this, but I thought it won't be justice to the whole group as such. So about forgiveness, one thing we have to understand is that what is about me which has given me that kind of experience in my life. What was about me that I attracted that kind of person who would come and hurt me? What was about me that I responded in a certain way which was not aligned with my values? So it is said that the conflict begins long before you are hired. What does it mean? Sometimes what happens, we have very high expectations from employee, and when those high expectations are not being met, and then when the employee is not able to deliver what was expected out of him, first of all the expectations were set very high from both the parties, from the employer and from the employee. When both of them are not able to match to their expectation, conflict starts. So conflict is rooted in expectations. An expectation is about me, how I was expecting and how those expectations were not being met, and why I was expecting certain things from that person and how that person could not deliver that, and what made me feel bad and sad and vengeful and angry. So it is said that when you squeeze an orange, what do you get? What do you get when you squeeze something? So let's say we squeeze orange. Orange juice, isn't it? So when somebody is coming and squeezing us, and somebody is coming and straining our life, and somebody is coming and pushing me, so what will come out? The real me. Till the time somebody is not squeezed, the reality will not be seen. And it's very hard to hear this, and I'm sorry if it is hurting you, but there's a reality that when somebody comes and hits us, how we respond, that is my true personality. We'll discuss more about it, why I'm saying like this. So it is said that when the person who angers us is only bringing out what is inside of us. So all of us have different types of push buttons. There's a book also, how to stop people pushing your buttons. And what are those buttons? Those buttons are our sensitivities. Those buttons are our pains. Those buttons are my vulnerabilities. Those buttons are my weaknesses. So when anyone comes and pushes those buttons or touches those wounds, it stirs something in us and it brings what we were trying to hide. If some people were trying to hide anger in them, and there's a push button of feeling disrespected. If let's say if somebody comes and disrespect you, the button of anger will be pushed, and what will come out is anger, which will come out because you have been burying that anger within you. So we have been burying the pain within us, and when somebody comes and touches that pain, we experience huge amount of excruciating pain in our life. But we think, oh, it is because of that person I am experiencing pain. But I am not experiencing pain because of that person. I am experiencing my own pain, which I have been trying to hide and not process it. It's a very important thing. This realization dawned to me almost 10 years back. I had a friend and I had developed a lot of expectations from that friend. And I was very dependent on that friend. I used to ask a lot of questions from that friend. So in a way, I had lost all my power and I would just be dependent on that friend. I would seek validation from that friend. I would seek confirmation from that friend. So I had given a lot of power to that friend because I was weak by myself. And I started observing that slight discrepancy or the slight touch or the slight annoyance from that person, I would have disproportionate emotional reaction. And I would start abusing this person. Oh, this person is bad, this person is like this person is like that. Although objectively he has not done anything, but it's because of me, my own expectation from him, what expectation I had developed from him, that became the source of my miseries. So there's a technical term which is known as expectations hangover. What's the meaning of expectation hangover? Expectations hangover means when you have certain expectations from someone, and maybe expectation from someone, expectation from yourself, expectation from situation. So when those expectations are not being met, we become angry, we become guilty, we become shameful, we experience pain, we get disheartened. So it's not about that person anymore, it's about me because I had those expectations. I know it's very difficult to digest this, but it's a very painful reality. So it is me who is giving this person opportunity to come and make my life miserable. I have given that power to that person because by expectation and by not being able to process my own pain. So the book says how not to allow anybody to push your buttons, means how to be in control, how to maintain healthy boundaries, and how to process my own self, and how to be connected with your own self. So a beautiful story, you might have heard about this, a yogi and the scorpion. So what happens, there was a yogi who was traveling in a boat. He was crossing the river, and what happens, there was a Scorpio who was struggling to save his life on some petal flowing in the river. He was about to drown. So this yogi became very compassionate, this yogi became very kind, and yogi saved that Scorpio by pulling the Scorpio from the water and keeping in the boat. As soon as a Scorpio came into the boat, Scorpio thought, oh, this person is going to kill me now. And we'll see this very interesting point, why this Scorpion thought like this. And because of that fear within the Scorpion, Scorpio comes and bite the Yogi himself. And because he was in the hand of Yogi and he bite the hand of Yogi, because his hand starts shaking, again he goes and fall back to the river. Again Yogi tries to save him. Again he comes and bite the hand of Yogi. Again, because of that pain, again he falls back to the river. And again he saved him. There was a person sitting next to him. He said, why is this? What are you doing? Are you a little mad person that you know this Scorpio is trying to bite you and still you're trying to save this Scorpio? He said, if the Scorpio is not giving up his nature of biting, see, very interesting answer. If the Scorpio is not giving up his nature of biting, why should I give up my nature of saving and showing kindness? That was the nature of a Scorpio, to bite. But what is my nature? Why am I deviating from my own values? Sometimes I know my values is to be forgiving, but we don't act in a forgiving way. We know my values are to be kind, but sometimes when misery hits us, we lose kindness. We know about karma, but when we are in a painful situation, we call out somebody else as responsible for my pain. So sometimes there is a misalignment of my values, of my nature versus my actions. My actions speak something else than what my values are. So there is an internal compass. You always have that internal compass of the values. So whenever you see you are deviating from your values, always realign yourself, recalibrate your action to your internal values. So, interesting point, your abuser helps you becoming more stronger. So, my question to all of you, how my abuser is trying to make me stronger? How? I know it's a fact I have experienced in my life. How my abuser is trying to make me stronger? Because if somebody is coming and abusing you and hurting you, then it requires you to develop to a higher degree, and it requires you to go to the higher consciousness to be able to forgive that person, because it's not easy to develop forgiveness, and that person is trying to teach you something which you have been lacking, otherwise you will not learn. So basically he's pushing you beyond your limits, and he's pushing you to develop higher consciousness and forgive that person. That is one way. Second way of seeing it, that how my abuser, how a person who abused me, how a person hurted me, was pointing out to my own weaknesses. He was playing out on my own weaknesses. So now it's an opportunity for me to become strong in those weak points. In that way, my abuser becomes my teacher. That he hurted me because I was weak in those areas. So what was about me which I allowed that person to come and abuse me? It may be sometimes I have not done anything and I just was a part of it. I just happened to be the part of it. Then is a strong possibility that strong karma was playing out. There is something lessons which sometimes are apparent, sometimes are not apparent. Sometimes we can see that these are the lessons. Sometimes we may have to work really hard, dig deep within and find out what is the lessons. Sometimes they come easy, sometimes you have to work for them. But for sure there is some lessons which you have to learn. So it is said, when you get lemons, make lemonade. If somebody comes and hurt you, become stronger and rise and above of all of it. So as I was talking about that, the pain fades, but the lessons you learn always stays with you. Beautiful story to collaborate this point. What happens is, there is one person. He had performed a lot of austerities. He was very devout Christian, and he had prayed a lot. He did a lot of good service. He followed all the 10 commandments of Bible. So then the angel comes. An angel comes and says, okay, ask, what is your boon? I want to benedict you. He says, I want to develop compassion. I want to be the most compassionate person in this world. I want to be really kind and compassionate to people. That is my boon. And then this angel says, okay, you want to become most compassionate, you want to become very kind. For that, I have a plan. And the plan is, in the next lifetime, I will become your worst enemy. And I will make your life miserable. I will hurt you to the core of you. And then you will be forced to forgive me. And if you have to forgive me, you really have to develop a lot of compassion and kindness. Without being compassionate, without being kind, you cannot really forgive me. So it means that sometimes our enemies, our teachers, comes in the form of our enemies. Our enemies are there to teach us some lessons. The person who are perpetrators are there to teach us some lessons. So what are those lessons? So, very interesting thing. Let's say, for an instance, all of you are like around 35, 40, 50 in your age. So you might have experienced a lot of pain in your life, a lot of negativity, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and a lot of disheartenment, and so many negative things. And also you have learned a lot of lessons in your life. So if you were to given an opportunity, okay, Krishna is okay, I'm giving you a boon. And the boon is, all of you can restart your life from the birth now, and I will remove all the pain from your stories. I will, in your new story, in your new journey, I will remove all the pain which you have experienced. But mind you, along with all the pain which you have experienced will be removed. Along with that, all the lessons which you have learned will also be removed. Are you ready? So what's the answer? So if we were to relive this life without any pain, but also losing all the gifts, losing all the lessons, losing all the learnings, what those painful moments have given me, all those will be wiped out. What is your answer? Would you want to have this kind of life without pain? So lessons are very important. So it means if we come from a consciousness of learning, then we can see that from a different perspective. So now small reflection. Write down what consistently come out of you when you're squeezed, and what can you do about it? If God gives the opportunity without any pain, then without any lesson you will not be able to grow also. And the gifts which you have received also will be lost. The gift of learning, the gift of wisdom. And the very fact you are talking about this, the same wisdom also will not be there. You will not be inspired to learn Bhagavad Gita. You will not be inspired to learn about higher values. If there is no pain, why I have to really look out for Lord? Why I really have to look out for higher meaning in life? Then those lessons also will not be there. That's what I really mean. If you give up all the pain, then lessons also will not be there. Okay, so clear then thinking. So it means what are you thinking about yourself? What I mean is, really what comes out of you is that how do you feel about yourself? You feel about I am a bad person, I am unlovable. Let's say for an instance, somebody comes and hurts your feelings, You had a deep feeling about yourself that I am not lovable, I'm not worth anything, and that person comes and proves same thing to you by his action. So my question is, let's say I have a deep feeling about myself that I am not worthy. I'm not worthy of love. That is my deep feeling. That is my core belief about myself. That will come to this now. So if somebody comes and shows by his action that you are not lovable, you are not worth, how do we react? We react sporadically. So what we can do about it? We can heal our own wounds. Yeah, see, such a beautiful point, because it was something about you that was giving you pain when somebody act in a certain way. So when you changed your own values, when you changed your own nature about yourself, your own perception about yourself, then that you disempower that person to hurt you anymore, and you have learned your lesson, right?